Yet we must face many difficulties in many different ways. Although Krishna cannot be killed, Vasudeva, as the father of Krishna, was trembling because in affection he thought that Kamsa would immediately come and kill his son. Similarly, although the Krishna consciousness movement and Krishna are not different from and they are not different, and no asuras can check it. We are afraid that at any moment the asuras can stop this movement in any part of the world. X23. Sukadeva Goswami continued. Thereafter, having seen that her child had all the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Devaki, who was very much afraid of Kamsa and unusually astonished, began to offer prayers to the Lord. 1 second. Let's see. Purports. The word Suvishmita, meaning astonished, is significant in this verse. Devaki and her husband, Vasudeva, were assured that their child was the Supreme Personality of God and could not be killed by Kamsa. But because of affection, as they thought of Kamsa's previous atrocities, they were simultaneously afraid that Krishna would be killed. This is why the word Suvismita has been used. Similarly, we are all astounded upon the thinking of whether this movement will be killed by the Asuras or will continue to advance without fear. Text 24. Shri Devaki said, "My dear Lord, there are different Vedas, some of which describe you as unperceivable through words and mind. Yet you are the origin of the entire cosmic manifestation. You are Brahman, the greatest of everything, full of effulgence like the sun. You have no material cause. You are free from change and deviation. And you have no material desires. Thus, the Vedas say that you are the substance. Therefore, my Lord, you are directly the origin of all Vedic statements. And by understanding you, one gradually understands everything. You are different from the light of Brahman and Paramatma, yet you are not different from them. Everything emanates from you. Indeed, you are the cause of all causes, Lord Vishnu, the past light of all transcendental knowledge." Wow. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Vishnu is the origin of everything, and there is no difference between Lord Vishnu and Lord Krishna, because both of them are Vishnu Tattva. From the Rig Veda, we understand Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam. The original substance is the all-pervading Lord Vishnu, who is also Paramatma, and the effulgent Brahman. The living entities are also part and parcel of Vishnu, who has various energies. Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vashruyate Swabhaviki Vajavala Vaja Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vashruyate Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. Vishnu, or Krishna, is therefore everything. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Krishna, therefore, is the original cause of everything. Sarvakarana Karanam. When Vishnu expands in his all-pervading aspect, we should understand him to be Nirakara Nirvisesha Brahma-jyoti. Although everything emanates from Krishna, he is ultimately a person. Aham Adir Devanam. He is the origin of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, and from them many other demigods are manifested. Krishna therefore says in Bhagavad Gita, Rono hi pratistaham. Brahman rests upon me. The Lord also says, Yapiyanya devata bhaktya yajante shadyanvita tepimam eva kunteya yajanti avidi purvakam. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. Bhagavad Gita 9.23. There are many persons who worship different demigods, considering all of them to be separate gods, which in fact they are not. The fact is that every demigod and every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Mamayam so jiva loke jiva bhuta. The demigods are also in the category of living entities. They are not separate gods. But men whose knowledge is immature and contaminated by the modes of material nature worship various gods according to their intelligence. Therefore, they are rebuked in the Bhagavad Gita. Kamaistaistar kitagana prapadyante niha devata, because they are unintelligent, and kitagyana prapadyante niha devata, because they are unintelligent and not very advanced and have not properly considered the truth, they take to the worship of various demigods or speculate according to various philosophies, such as the Mayavada philosophy. Krishna, Vishnu, is the actual origin of everything. As stated in the Vedas, Yasya Basa Sarvam Idam Vibhati. The absolute truth is described later in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.28.15 as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Yad Brahma Jyoti Sanatanam. The Brahma Jyoti is Sanatana, eternal, yet it is dependent on Krishna. Brahmano hi pratistaham. The Brahma Samhita states that the Lord is all pervading. Anantaram sta paramanu chayantaram stam. He is within this universe, and he is within the atom as Paramatma. Yasya prabha prabhupatam jagat ananda koti kotish Sesha Vasudhari Vibhuti Binam. Brahman is also not independent of him. Therefore, whatever a philosopher may describe is ultimately Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Sarvam Klav Idam Brahma, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam. According to different phases of understanding, Lord Vishnu is differently described, but in fact, he is the origin of everything. Harivol. Because Devaki was an unalloyed devotee, she could understand that the same Lord Vishnu had appeared as her son. Therefore, after the prayers of Vasudeva, Devaki offered her prayers. She was very frightened because of her brother's atrocities. Devaki said, "My dear Lord, your eternal forms, like Narayana, Lord Rama, Shesha, Varaha, Nrsimha, Vamana, Baladeva, and millions of similar incarnations emanating from Vishnu are described in the Vedic literature as original. You are original because all your forms are incarnations. Because you are original because all your forms as incarnations are outside of the material creation. Your form was existing before this cosmic manifestation was created. Your forms are eternal and all pervading. They are self effulgent, changeless, and uncontaminated by the material qualities. Such eternal forms are ever cognizant and full of bliss. They are situated in transcendental goodness and are always engaged in different pastimes. You are not limited to a particular form only. All such transcendental eternal forms are self sufficient. I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord Vishnu. We may conclude, therefore, that Lord Vishnu is everything, although he is also different from everything. This is the Achintya Veda Abheda Tattva philosophy. Yeah, in other words, that Krishna is also different from everything. Let's see. We may conclude, therefore, that Vishnu is everything, although he is also different from everything. This is the Achintya Veda Abheda Tattva philosophy. Text 25. After millions of years, at the time of cosmic annihilation, when everything manifested and unmanifested is annihilated by the force of time, the five gross elements enter into the subtle conception, and the manifested categories enter into the unmanifested substance. At that time, you alone remain, and you are known as Anantasesha Naga. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. At the time of annihilation, the five gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, enter into the mind, intelligence, and false ego, ahankara, and the entire cosmic manifestation enters into the spiritual energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone remains as the origin of everything. The Lord is therefore known as Shesha Naga, as the Adi Purusha, and many other names. The Lord is therefore known as Shesha Naga, as Adi Purusha, and by many other names. Okay? Devaki therefore prayed. After many millions of years, when Lord Brahma comes to the end of his life, the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation takes place. At that time, the five elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether, enter into the Mahatattva. The Mahatattva again enters by the force of time into the non-manifested total material energy. The total material energy enters into the energetic pradhana, and the pradhana enters into you. Therefore, after the annihilation of the whole cosmic manifestation, you alone remain with your transcendental name, form, quality, and paraphernalia. My Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you because you are the director of the unmanifested total energy and the ultimate reservoir of the material nature. My Lord, the whole cosmic manifestation is under the influence of time, beginning from the moment up to the duration of the year. All act under your direction. You are the original director of everything and the reservoir of all potent energies. That's very nice statement. Text 26. O inaugurator of the material energy. This wonderful creation works under the control of powerful time, which is divided into seconds, minutes, hours, and years. This element of time, which extends for many millions of years, is but another form of Lord Vishnu. For your pastimes, you act as the controller of time, but you are the reservoir of all good fortune. Let me offer my full surrender unto your lordship. Haribol. It's a prayer, a wonderful prayer. Purport, as stated in Brahma Samhita 5.52, Yakshakshur Esa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samastasura Murtir Asesha Teja Yasya Yaya Brahmati Samrita Kala Chakro Govinda Hari Purasham Tamaham Bhajami. And that's Brahma Samhita 5.52. The sun is the king of all planetary systems and has unlimited potency in heat and light. I worship Govinda, the prime evil lord, the supreme personality of Godhead, under whose control even the sun, which is considered to be the eye of the Lord, rotates within the fixed orbit of the eternal time. Although we see the cosmic manifestation as gigantic and wonderful, it is within the limitation of Kala, the time factor. This time factor is also controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Prakriti, the cosmic manifestation, is under the control of time. Indeed, everything is under the control of time. And time is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Supreme Lord has no fear of the onslaughts of time. Time is estimated according to the movements of the sun. Savita, every minute, every second, every day, every night, every month, and every year of time can be calculated according to the sun's movements. But the sun is not independent, for it is under time's control. Pramati Sambrita Kala Chakra. The sun moves within the Kala Chakra, the orbit of time. The sun is under the control of time, and time is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord has no fear of time. The Lord is addressed here as Avyakta Bandhu, or the inaugurator of the movements of the entire cosmic manifestation. Sometimes the cosmic manifestation is compared to a potter's wheel. When a potter's wheel is spinning, who has set it in motion? It is the potter, of course. Although sometimes we can see only the motion of the wheel and cannot see the potter himself. Therefore, the Lord who is behind the motion of the cosmos is called Avyakta. Everything is within the limits of time, but time moves under the direction of the Lord, who is therefore not within time's limits. Text 27. No one in this material world has become free from the four principles: birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. But now that you have appeared, my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities, having obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. Purport. There are different categories of living entities, but everyone is afraid of death. The highest aim of the karmis is to be promoted to the higher heavenly planets, where the duration of life is very long. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.17, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yat Brahmano, we do 1 day of Brahma's time. I'm sorry. 1 day of Brahma equals 1,000 yugas, and each yuga consists of 4,300,000 years. Similarly, Brahma has a night of 1,000 times 4,300,000 years. In this way, we may calculate Brahma's month and year, but even Brahma, who lives for millions and millions of years, to be Parada Kala, also must die. According to Vedic Shastra, the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems live for 10,000 years. And just as Brahma's day is calculated to equal 4,300,000 years of our years, 1 day in the higher planetary systems equals 6 of our months. Wow. Karmis, therefore, try for promotion to the higher planetary systems, but this cannot free them from death. In this material world, everyone from Brahma to the insignificant ant must die. Therefore, this world is called Martya Loka. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 8.16, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartina Rujana. As long as one is within this material world, either on the Brahma Loka or on any other loka within the universe, one must undergo the Kala Chakra of one life after another. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. But if one returns to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet gatva nivartante, one need not enter, and one need not re-enter the limits of time. Very important. Therefore, devotees who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord can sleep very peacefully with this assurance from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Chakvadeham Punarjanman 90. After giving up the present body, a devotee who has understood Krishna as he is needed, not return to this material world. The constitutional position for the living entity is eternity. Nahanyate hanyamane sarire nitya sasvato yam. Every living entity is eternal, but because of having fallen into the material world, one wanders within the universe continually, changing from one body to another. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Gona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad He Bhaya Bhakti Vibhata Bija. Everyone is wandering up and down within this universe, but one who is sufficiently fortunate comes in contact with Krishna comes in contact with Krishna consciousness by the mercy of the spiritual master and takes to the path of devotional service, then one is assured of eternal life with no fear of death. When Krishna appears, everyone is freed from fear of death. Yet Devaki felt, we are still afraid of Kamsa, although you have appeared as our son. She was more or less bewildered as to why this should be so, and she appealed to the Lord to free her and Vasudeva from this fear. It is in this connection, it may be noted that the moon is one of the heavenly planets. From the Vedic literature, we understand that one who goes to the moon receives a life with a duration of 10,000 years in which to enjoy the fruits of pious activities. If our so-called scientists are going to the moon, why should they come back here? We must conclude without a doubt that they have never gone to the moon. How many times have I said that? To go to the moon, one must have the qualification of pious activities. Then one may go there and live. If one has gone to the moon, why should he return to this planet where life is of a very short duration? Okay. Purport, text 28. My Lord, because you dispel all the fear of your devotees, I request you to save us and give us protection from the terrible fear of Kamsa. Your form as Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is appreciated by yogis in meditation. Please make this form invisible to those who see with material eyes. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word dhyana, dhyana, his yam is significant in this verse because the form of Lord Vishnu is meditated upon by yogis. Jnana vastuta tadgatena manasa. Pasyanti Yam Yogina. Devaki requested the Lord, who had appeared as Vishnu, to conceal that form, for she wanted to see the Lord as an ordinary child, like a child appreciated by persons who have material knowledge. Devaki wanted to see whether the Supreme Personality had factually appeared or she was dreaming the Vishnu form. If Kamsa were to come, she thought, upon seeing the Vishnu form, he would immediately kill the child. But if he saw a human child, he might reconsider. Devaki was afraid of Ugrasena Atmaja. That is, she was afraid not of Ugrasena and his men, but of the son of Ugrasena. Thus she requested the Lord to dissipate that fear, since he was always ready to give protection. Avayam to his devotees. My Lord, she prayed, I request you to save me from the cruel hands of the son of Ugrasena, Kamsa. I am praying to you, to your lordship, to place to please rescue me from this fearful condition, because you are always ready to give protection to your servitors. The Lord has confirmed this statement in the Bhagavad Gita by assuring Arjuna, you may declare to the world, my devotee shall never be vanquished. Here it is, the ultimate statement that Krishna will protect his devotee. While thus praying to the Lord for rescue, Mother Devaki expressed her motherly affection. I understand that this transcendental form is generally perceived in meditation by the great sages, but I am still afraid because as soon as Kamsa understands that you, meaning Krishna, have appeared, he might harm you. So I request that for the time being, you become invisible to our material eyes. In other words, she requested the Lord to assume the form of an ordinary child. My only cause of fear from my brother Kamsa is due to your appearance. My Lord Madhusudana, Kamsa may know that you are already born. Therefore, I request you to conceal this four-armed form of your lordship, which holds the four symbols of Vishnu, namely the conch shell, the disc, the club, and the lotus flower. My dear Lord, at the end of the annihilation of the cosmic manifestation, you put the whole universe within your abdomen. Still, by your unalloyed mercy, you have appeared in my womb. I am surprised that you imitate the activities of ordinary human beings, just, just to please your devotee. Devaki was so afraid of Kamsa that she could not believe that Kamsa would be unable to kill Lord Vishnu. Okay, so she's doubting. That's not good. Who was personally present. Out of the motherly affection, therefore, she requested the Supreme Personality of Godhead to disappear. Although, because of the Lord's disappearance, Kamsa would harass her more and more, thinking that the child born of her was hidden somewhere. She did not want the transcendental child to be harassed and killed. Therefore, she requested Lord Vishnu to disappear. Later, when harassed, she would think of him within her mind. Text 29. O Madhusudana, because of your appearance, I am becoming more and more anxious in fear of gossip. Therefore, please arrange for that sinful Kamsa to be unable to understand that you have taken birth from my womb. Purport. Devaki addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Madhusudana. She was afraid that the Lord had killed many demons like Madhu, who were hundreds and thousands of times more powerful than Kamsa. Yet, because of affection for the transcendental child, she believed that Kamsa could kill him. Instead of thinking of the unlimited power of the Lord, she thought of the Lord with affection, and therefore she requested the transcendental child to disappear. Text 30. O my Lord, you are the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are transcendental four-armed form, holding conch shell, disc, glove, and lotus. Is unnatural for this world. Please withdraw this form and become just like a natural human child, so that I may try to hide you somewhere. Purport. Devaki was thinking of hiding the Supreme Personality of God and not hiding him over and not handing him over to Kamsa, as she had all her previous children. Yeah, eight times, or eight, yeah, 8 times the children were killed. Although Vasudeva had promised to hand over every child to Kamsa, this time he wanted to break his promise and hide the child. This time he wanted to break his promise and hide the child somewhere. But because of the Lord's appearance in this surprising four-armed form, he would be impossible to hide. Okay. Text 31. At the time of devastation, the entire cosmos, containing all created moving and non-moving entities, enters your transcendental body and is held there without difficulty. But now this transcendental form has taken birth from my womb. People will not be able to believe this, and I shall become an object of ridicule. As explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, purport. As explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, loving service to the personality of Godhead is of two different kinds. Aishwarya Purna, full of opulence, and Aishwarya Sithila, without opulence. Real love of God, it begins with Aishwarya Sthila, simply on the basis of pure love. Pramanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanina, Santak Sadaiva Hidaya Suralokayanti, Yam Sham Sundarama Chintya Guna Swarupam, Govindam Adipurushnam Tamaham Vajami. Ramasamhita 5.38. Pure devotees whose eyes are anointed with the ointment of prema, love, want to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Shama Sundara, Murlidhara, with a flute swaying in his two hands. This is the form available to the inhabitants of Vrindavana, who are all in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Shamasundara, not as Lord Vishnu, Narayana, who is worshipped in Vaikuntha, where the devotees admire his opulence. Although Devaki is not on the Vrindavana platform, she is near the Vrindavana platform. On the Vrindavana platform, the mother of Krishna is Mother Yasoda. And on the Mathura and Dwarka platform, the mother of Krishna is Devaki. In Mathura and Dwarka, the love for the Lord is mixed with appreciation of his opulence. But in Vrindavana, the opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not exhibited. There are 5 stages of loving service to the Supreme Personality of God. Sankta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Devaki is on the Godhead. Sankta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Devaki is on the Devaki is on the platform of Vatsalya. She wanted to deal with her eternal son Krishna in that stage of love, and therefore she wanted the Supreme Personality of Godhead to withdraw his opulent form of Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura illuminates this fact very clearly in his explanation of this verse. Bhakti, Bhagavan, and Bhakta do not belong to the material world. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mam chayo vibicharena bhakti yogena sevate sadhunam samatitya rama bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in spiritual activities of unalloyed devotional service immediately transcends the modes of material nature and is elevated to the spiritual platform. From the very beginning of one's transcendental, of one's, from the very beginning of one's transactions in bhakti, one is situated on the transcendental platform. Vasudeva and Devaki, therefore, being situated in a completely pure devotional state, are beyond this material world and are not subject to the material fear. In the transcendental world, however, because of pure devotion, there is a similar conception of fear, which is due to intense love. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavanyas Chasmi Tatvata. And as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhaktyaham Ekaya Grahya. Without bhakti, one cannot understand the spiritual situation of the Lord. Bhakti may be considered in 3 stages, called Guni Bhuta, Pradhani Bhuta, and Kevala. And according to these stages, there are 3 divisions, which are called Jnana, Jnanamaya, and Rati, or Prema. That is simple knowledge, love mixed with knowledge, and pure love. By simple knowledge, one can perceive transcendental bliss without variety. This perception is called mana buddhi. When one comes to the stage of janamaya, when one comes to the stage of Jnanamaya, one realizes the transcendental opulences of the personality of Godhead. But when one reaches pure love, one realizes the transcendental form of the Lord as Lord Krishna or Lord Rama. This is what is wanted, especially in the Madhurya Rasa. One becomes attached to the personality of Godhead, Sri Vigraha Nishta Rupadi. Then loving transactions between the Lord and the devotees begins. The special significance of Krishna's bearing a flute in his hand in Rajabhumi Vrindavana is described as Mudi, Madhuri, Virajate, the form of the Lord with a flute in his hands is most attractive, and the one who is most sublimely attractive is Srimati Radharani. Radhika, she enjoys supremely blissful association with Krishna. Sometimes people cannot understand why Radhika's name is not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, however, so- Radhika can be understood from the word Aradhana, which indicates that she enjoys the highest loving affairs with Krishna. Not wanting to be ridiculed for having given birth to Vishnu, Devaki wanted Krishna with two hands, and therefore she requested the Lord to change his form. Text 32. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, "My dear mother, best of the chaste, if in your previous birth, in the Shama Bhuva millennium, in the Swayam Bhuva millennium, you were known as Krishna, and Vasudeva, who was the most pious Prajapati, was named Sutapa." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead made it clear that Devaki had not become his mother only now. Rather, she had been his mother previously also. Krishna is eternal, and his selection of a father and mother from among his devotees takes place eternally. Previously also, Devaki had been the Lord's mother, and Vishnu Deva, the Lord's father, and they were named Krishna and Sutapa. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, he accepts his eternal father and mother, and they accept Krishna as their son. This pastime takes place eternally and is therefore called Nitya Lila. Thus, there was no cause for surprise or ridicule, as confirmed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janmakarma chame divyam evam yo veti tatpata chakvadeham punarjanma naitimam eti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. One should try to understand the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from Vedic authority from, and by Vedic authority, not from imagination. One who follows his imaginations about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is condemned. Avajanti mam buddha manusim tanam asritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Bhagavad Gita 9:11. The Lord appears as the son of his devotee by his param bhavam. The word bhava refers to the stage of pure love, which has nothing to do with material transactions. Text 33. I think we're almost
Yeah,
finished.
we're just about time. It's 7:33.
All right, we'll stop right there. The Lord appears as the son of his devotee by his param bhavam. The word bhava refers to the stage of pure love, which has nothing to do with material transactions. That is our takeaway for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare.
All glories to
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki jai.
jai.
All glories to the divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And all glories to
Srimad
the
Bhagavatam.
Lord who appears as the son of his devotee by his param bhavam. The word bhava refers to the stage of pure love, which has nothing to do with material transactions. There it is.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any quick questions? If not, we'll end the session.